Yeah. Divine dialect. IUIC. It's the payback. Hey yo, a lot of stains on our name throughout the time that passed, but not a lot of grains left in that hourglass. We used to rock fellas, hit dames then dash. Now through the rock we built a nation, waiting on Jehovah's wrath. Reporting live from the 5 boroughs. We gon' burn them bogeys. This ain't a Newport or Marlboro. In our youth they called us nicotine when they the cancer, but they dead. I don't talk to them, ain't no necromancer. Like A-Rod, them Yankees are basemen. No cap, them Yankees gon' say why in the end. Yeah, it's been a while since we seen Jerusalem. We miss our mother. Them nations jumped us, we coming back with our big brother. That'll more than even the odds. They try to bombard us with fraud, but in this spiritual war, you grip a sword and draw. To spare chili, put a hole in one of them birdies. We treat the eagle like a bogey when we up the paw. Yeah.
The payback. Swag like Solomon with 12, you can see the picture. Victor, it's all rad when you read the scriptures. Edom, we cause the L, and death we bring. Like Yahushua, my line from the second king. Warfare in Liberty City or Gotham. Dudes never read in the hood, so they robbing. Police shooting bullets at brothers. Elite marksmen, no love. We Philly shells. Bernard Hopkins, I'm a black prophet sent from God. I'm the medium. If I was Edom and knew my fate, I'd do me in. In this white world, the black man's inaudible. No Russian vengeance, but I'm roaming in the oracle. Redemption, the second exodus with war cries. From the Red Sea, we crossed over Jordan like AI. On the corner selling mustard, live and direct. Or you can get the sword online on your IP address. This black man getting vengeance on Edom, it's a miracle. Whipping on their back is revenge at its pinnacle. In China, we can see the chinks in your armor. You've been cooking bats in Japan and ate dogs from the collar. But when my body changed, I have more abs than your name, for I'm in God's body. My lot is highly acclaimed. These nations be talking ish. Malice in their doctrine, either get down or lay down. For Israel is the only option. But we wrestle with the devil like Naphtali's meaning. Like when the devil fought for Moses' body, we steady scheming. Like a movie scene, I saw 12 teams with angelic beams. Killed Edom and blood splattered all over the screen. And they got beamed inside a chariot and saw Edomite scream. For this is not deja vu, for I lived through this dream. Israel.
Oh, that's right, y'all. This is the payback. Oh, yeah. Esau, you know what's coming for you. You know what's coming for you now. And listen, the payback.
Not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a nonviolent, Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat, as stated in Leviticus 5:1.
Christ. Yeah, that's right. I said Christ. I see Christ in you. You're my brother. I see Christ in you, bro.
I seem all my bros to be better than me. Truth be told, truth be told, this is what we must do to avoid envy. Truth be told, truth be told, and blacks and Hispanics are family. Truth be told, truth be told, I just pray you see Christ when you see me. Truth be told, truth be told.
Shalom, Most High in Christ bless. You are now tuning into Truth Be Told DC, broadcasting live. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to hear the truth according to the Bible. Hosted by IUIC DC. For music, clothing, and instruments of learning, visit originalroyalty.com and israelunite.org. Shalom.
Shalom, fam. Welcome back to Truth Be Told DC. I'm Officer Matthew to my left. Officer Phinehas. Officer Mendel.
To my right.
Officer Micah.
So today's topic is the true Independence Day. So we got a lot of hoopla about the 4th of July and all this coming. They're supposed to be doing it bigger and better this year, but we're going to see how big and bad the real Independence Day is. So before we get there, let's open up with John 8:32.
The book of John, chapter 8, verse 32.
Uh-huh.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
So the truth is that you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans make up the 12 tribes of Israel, and you're called to repentance in these last days. And we are indeed in the last days. As you look around at your various news outlets to see, we are in some strange times. So let's go ahead and go open up with Deuteronomy chapter 28.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So the Most High, this is the contract between the children of Israel and the Most High. So the Most High said if we did not keep the laws, statutes, and commandments written in the Bible, that curses will fall upon us. Let's read one of the curses. Let's go to verse 43.
Verse 43.
Uh-huh.
The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high.
Now, when we left out of Egypt, we had strangers amongst us. And the Most High said, the stranger that is among you shall get above you very high. Read.
And thou shalt come down very low.
It said, and thou shalt come down very low. Let's see how low we've come down. Go ahead and roll that video. Blacks in the 4th of July.
And the tension erupted on March 5th, 1770, where Crispus Attucks, a black man, is reported as being the first to lose his life in an altercation between Boston mobs and the British soldiers. A black man was the first to lose his life for the sake of white-on-white conflict, of what the Americans called the Boston Massacre, for a group of Europeans that did not view him nor his kind as human. But ironically, Crispus Attucks was not the only black to fight in the American Revolutionary War. George Washington and other Continentals were not initially interested in supplying blacks with weapons to help fight in this war, for fear that they would have fought an independent struggle against them. The British, however, encouraged blacks to fight and promised them not only freedom, but land to be self-governing. The Continentals took notice and hesitantly utilized blacks to help fight against the British. Many whites would send enslaved Africans to fight in their place, promising them freedom if they served honorably. And so, motivated by the promise of coming from up under this enslavement and the oppression, and from being forced, we fought. Halt! Stop the music. Do you not see the irony in this? Here we have black-on-black violence, willing to kill each other for European interests, hoping that we can appeal to their morality and that they will honor their word and stop oppressing us as a reward for fighting. When the war ended, what happened to the blacks? Many that fought for the Continentals went back to life as usual. Only a few blacks that fought for the British saw fulfillment to this promise that they couldn't keep. Those that left with the British went to their new land of Canada, England, Australia, and Sierra Leone, and were still treated as they had been before. Some rebel Africans were given to loyalist plantations or shipped to English slave property in the Caribbean. Or worse, some were sent back to continental enslavers when they became of no benefit to the British. Although our ancestors fought in the American Revolutionary War, many for their freedom, literally, it wasn't until 1865 that we gained our independence. Or did we? America showed us a great example of how independence is gained. And the U.S. Revolution against Britain also showed us what independence looks like. Bring it down. When a nation or a group of people have true independence, it means that you have your own sovereignty, which means that you are self-governing, which means that you are self-determining. So what does that mean? This means that you are no longer dependent on or subject to any other people's or institutions' power or will. And with this, it becomes your prerogative to protect your population and your sovereignty. So what have African Americans been celebrating as their own token of independence? An Emancipation Proclamation that boils down to European Americans writing on paper that they would partially, only in rebellious states, stop abusing the human rights of Africans, that is, on paper and selectively. Even with that, how do you celebrate a day that somebody else said on paper that they're going to give you something that is yours by birthright? How do we celebrate an independence that does not equate to our own sovereignty? I don't know. Independence without your own sovereignty is kind of like saying, here, take this money that can't buy nothing. As far as I'm concerned, that's pretty useless. Maybe ceremonial or symbolic. Looks pretty even, but you can't do nothing practical with it.
Just to show that contrast, how we singing and clapping, thinking we gonna be equal rights, and Esau going to war.
Hey, now the Negro thinking he gonna vote himself equal with Esau. They gonna go down to
in
the
his
polls.
own system that he made.
Yeah, but they still dancing, singing, and clapping.
Right, but
Same thing.
Let's see
Oh
what
yeah,
the Bible
because you
says.
had Negroes out there twerking at the
Right.
Black Lives Matter thing in front of the police.
You get that? Let's see what the Bible say about us and being free.
The book of Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity.
Hold up, what?
We are yet this day in our captivity.
Present day in our captivity. Read.
Where thou hast scattered us. For a reproach and a curse.
And a what?
And a curse. And to be subject to payment.
That's why we got to pay all these taxes and fees and penalties, because of the sins that we accumulated. The Bible is crystal clear. We are not free. We have not been delivered. So let's go ahead. Let's get the book real quick. We're about to read this book, The Roman Empire, the Empire of the Edomite. This is written in 1853. We weren't allowed to read in 1853, so you understand. So this author was not writing this book to us. William Beeston. The Negro wasn't even, what was that, 1776?
That's what I was gonna say. That's after the Independence War right here. This book right here.
Right. That's 70-something years later, 1853. So let's see what the scholars were saying at that time when they was writing to one another. Read that.
The Roman Empire, the Empire of the Edomite.
Already letting you know who the Edomites were and who was their empire. The Roman Empire. Read.
Founded Rome, and the Roman Empire at a length entirely overturned the Jewish state. The second temple being destroyed by Titus Vespasian.
So that's 70 A.D. We read Christ prophesied that in Luke 21 and 20 on down. Read.
And professing the religion of Jesus Christ.
As what?
Professing the religion of Jesus Christ.
It's that, you know, the Edomites was the first converts to follow Christ. Read.
Which they were the first of all nations to embrace. They hold Jacob.
Hold up. The Edomites do what?
They hold Jacob in captivity.
And slavery.
Till Messiah ben David shall appear.
This is what the white scholars know. They said we holding the Israelites in slavery until Christ returns. That's the real Independence Day. Their authors is writing about that. Read.
The rabbins further assert that the prophecies of the prophets against Esau, Edom, And the cities of Edom have as yet received but a partial accomplishment.
That's talking about doing when they was ran up in the mountains during the dark ages, letting you know that was just a partial fulfillment of the prophecy when you read Malachi 1 down through 4. Read.
And that they will obtain their fulfillment in the punishment and destruction of Rome Christians.
Already letting you know who started the Christianity. It's white supremacists you hear the bishop start bringing out. That's why he said that mess is going to be destroyed on Independence Day. You want to say something, officer, or you good? All right, so let's go ahead. Let's go to Isaiah 66. Matter of fact, give me that mic up real quick before we get that Isaiah. To back up what we read in Baruch about this place is not your rest. Was that 2 and 10? Is that what I want? Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah, we gotta move. Micah 2 and 10.
The book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest.
Let you know, America, this is not our rest. This place is a house on fire. Read.
Because it is polluted. It shall destroy you.
It shall what?
Destroy you.
Let you know everything in this place is defiled. Read.
Even with a sore destruction.
That's going into that judgment day, that Independence Day. It's going to be a sore destruction. Understand that. So let's go to Isaiah 66.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 66 and verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind.
Those chariots, we seeing them all in the sky, but they call the UFOs or aerial phenomenon. Those are the angels of the Lord, so you understand. Read.
To render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire.
He's going to be correcting with nuclear fire. That's what that's talking about. Read.
For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh.
That's how the Lord plead. He's not coming down here asking, talking about let my people go. He's going to be pleading with nuclear bombs and destruction. Read.
And the slain of the Lord shall be many.
Hold on. And the loved of the Lord.
And the slain of the Lord shall be many.
What we got to understand is salvation always equals destruction. There's no way you've ever seen a hostage rescue take place and the SWAT team rescues the hostage takers. You've never seen it. Read.
They that sanctify themselves.
So these that sanctify themselves, read.
And purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh.
Eating what?
Eating swine's flesh.
That's the pork, read.
And the abomination. And the mouse.
That's all your seafoods, your crabs and all that. The mouse is going into your possums, raccoons, squirrels, and so forth. Read.
Shall be consumed together, saith the Lord.
So what are they talking about in Christianity that you can eat all things? Christ is crystal clear. When he come back, if you holding a pork, if you out there grilling on the 4th of July with some pork chops, you getting put to death. Understand that thing. So let's go ahead and go to Psalms 104 and 3.
The book of Psalms, chapter 104 and verse 3. Who laid the beams of his chambers in the waters? Who maketh the clouds in his chariot?
Who what?
Who maketh the clouds his chariot?
So it says, who maketh the clouds his chariot? Talking about those vessels, those angelic vessels that we see. Chariots of the Lord. Read.
Who walketh upon the wings of the wind.
And them things look like they walk, they just gliding through it. That's what David's seeing in spirit. They just gliding upon the wings of the wind. No noise. Them things moving. You see them on the tapes. They moving in all kinds of directions. Up, down, left, right. They're gliding upon the wind.
I was going to say the one thing that, Esau's got it planted in everybody's head that these UFOs are Martians and all that. When you hear somebody saying that, they saying that because that's what they, what they bring you on TV and all of that.
Right.
Those are the Most High's chariots, his angels.
And they black.
Around. And they are black. And they are showing up more and more. Like, people got to pay attention to what's going on. We're going to play some videos. You got the video ready?
Yeah, go ahead and cue that video up.
I want y'all to see how fast these chariots go across the moon.
And the size of them.
And the size. This ain't nothing that's man-made.
Yeah, and this ain't no doctored footage either. Because they get on there and hit you with that witchcraft talking about that CGI. No, that ain't CGI. That's the real deal. So let's go ahead and roll that.
crystal blue. Phinehas in the sky.
Man, them things skating across sky, they not playing no games. Understand that thing.
I forget who the guy was that videotaped it. At first, he was trying to say it was a hoax, but then
Right.
he had to come back and admit it was real. But he had set up his high-resolution camera to video the moon, and he captured that footage. But that's just, you know, a little bit of what's out. It's a lot of stuff out there on Facebook.
Yeah, they
You know,
got them
people been
on.
posting up.
They got the one we played a while back. The one was siphoning energy from off the sun. I mean, it was huge in comparison to the sun, and the sun is massive, man.
It's so many now that even the Navy had to come out and declassify videos,
Right.
showing that the pilot's seen it too, because they can't really hide it anymore.
All right, let's get more on these. Which other? Oh, the skyline. Yeah, play that. Play that other video.
That's what it's going to look like when Christ come back. That's
Right.
what they try to put in the movies, but when you watch it, you'll see that they're going to show you people being taken up by the chariots and everything.
Yeah, go ahead and roll that.
Is that what I think it is? My God. What is it?
Yeah, but that ain't gonna be no running. That ain't gonna be no running. So Hollywood already got that thing mapped out for you, man. Them things gonna come, man. Read that in Psalms.
The book of Psalms, chapter 68 and verse 17. The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels.
Many thousands of angels on that day when he returned. He not coming back with a couple angels. Millions of them, to be exact. Read.
The Lord is among them.
Who?
The Lord is among them.
The tip of the spear, Christ, the black Messiah, is going to be leading the charge. Read.
As in Sinai in the holy place.
Right. So let's go here. Let's go to Daniel chapter 7, verse 9. So they putting these things out in movies because they already know what time it is. So when you see these chariots of the Lord, you automatically assume them as hostiles, you know, but not knowing that they for your deliverance. Right. We might have that. But go ahead and read that, Daniel 7 and 9.
The book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was as white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool.
And the hair of his head like what?
The pure wool.
Let you know, the Most High is a black man. The hair of his head like the pure wool. Read.
His throne was like the fiery flame.
It says his throne was like the fiery flames.
And his wheels as a burning fire.
And his what?
Wheels as a burning fire.
Do you see that in the video? You want? Yeah, we don't have that video. Right. So we gonna find a picture in the meanwhile, but let's keep it moving. Let's get Zechariah 5 and 1. You found it? All right, so we about to send this photo over so you can see this thing.
Hey, at the top of that script, you see how that thing says, what did it say? It said the kingdoms.
Mm-hmm.
It said the kingdoms was desolate. We'll read that again, Michael. Officer Michael.
Daniel 7 and 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down.
You see that thing? So this is after all of these kingdoms were already destroyed, shut down. When the Most High God is back in power, Christ is back ruling the earth.
Throwing down.
Yeah, it's already done.
Read us Daniel 7 and 13 real quick for the people.
Daniel chapter 7 and 13.
This is going to clear up a lot. This is going to clear up, one, that Christ and God ain't the same.
I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man.
That's Christ. Read.
Came with the clouds of heaven.
Came with the what?
The clouds of heaven.
Came with the chariots of heaven. We read that in Psalm 68 and 17. Read.
And came to the Ancient of Days.
Oh, what? He came to who?
To the Ancient of Days.
That's letting you know. A lot of times people think God and Christ is the same thing. No, you can't be bought to yourself. So he came with his army because Christ is the commander of the armies, man. Right under the Most High, who's the general, or would you read the Lord of Sabbath oath, meaning the commander of many military might. Read.
And they brought him near before him.
Right, so Christ came to the Ancient of Days, showing you that Christ and the Most High is two different people. And he's traveling in a chariot, so you understand, with his military. So let's go ahead. Let's get us Zechariah chapter 5, verse 1. Oh, yeah, pull up that picture. Pull up the picture while we read this.
Should be two.
It should be two pictures. So go back to that. Go back to that Daniel real quick, what you read. So that picture to the right was captured on NASA footage. That's a radio satellite, and that you see that chariot, that disc, that Ezekiel wheel traveling toward the earth. Then they cut the feed. They cut the feed all the time when they see these chariots. So read that again.
I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit.
You see that? That's a picture of him. Ancient of Days did sit. Read.
Whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame.
His throne was like what?
The fiery flame. And his wheels as burning fire.
Right. What is a wheel? What does a wheel do? A wheel spins, letting you know that these things are spinning. They got flames coming out of them. We see it all the time. You want to say something, officer?
Yeah, because you got to remember a wheel during that time. What was a wheel during that time?
Right.
It had the circular shape and the
like a cartwheel.
Like, cause remember the Egyptians had the chariots.
Right. They didn't have no concept of flying crafts and things like that at that time. So let's see. Let's go to Zechariah. Watch what Zechariah notes, what he sees.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 5 and verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. A
flying roll. This wasn't a dinner roll in the air, so you understand. He sees a flying roll. That's the context of what he had at that time. They didn't have F-35s and all that other stuff that we got today. So he was like, I don't know, this thing's a flying roll. Read.
And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits.
So let's say this thing's about 30, 35 feet long. Read.
And the breadth thereof, 10 cubits.
So it's about 12 to 15 feet high. So if you actually draw that shape, it shapes like a disc, like the chariots that we see all on YouTube, NASA feed, and so forth. That was just one of them. And then when you further read on, it says this is going to be the curse that go throughout the whole earth, meaning those are the crafts that's going to be coming back to render vengeance, so we understand.
They got to understand why Esau
You got
made so many movies.
Okay, so bring that up. Watch this. Look at the size of this thing. Look at the size of this chariot that's coming. Terror is earth, so you understand. Now look at this. It's coming from the right of the screen. Look at that thing. That thing is bigger than the earth. And it's clearly spinning. That's it. They reset it. So that also debunks that the earth is flat too. Clearly look at the earth. Well, I'm assuming they doctored the live feed too to make the earth from a square to a circle.
I was going to say, the reason why they killed that feed is because that's a public feed.
Right.
That's why they killed it. So when people saw that on there, They killed it so that they couldn't see the rest of it.
Right. That thing ain't no joke. That thing was bigger than the earth. So when we got to understand what kind of power we playing with when we think God loves everybody, I could continue sinning and doing what I want to do. So let's get that in 2 Kings real quick. Let's move on.
The book of 2 Kings, chapter 2 and verse 11.
Uh-huh.
And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire.
It appeared a what?
A chariot of fire.
Uh-huh.
And horses of fire.
Uh-huh.
And parted them both asunder.
Uh-huh.
And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven.
You see that? Elijah went up like a whirlwind into heaven. A chariot of fire appeared up, and the chariot was accompanied by angels, man. And they took Elijah up. Read. Is that it on that?
And Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel.
The chariot of what?
Of Israel.
All nations.
Of Israel.
Uh-huh.
And the horsemen thereof.
Those are the angels.
And he saw him no more.
Uh-huh.
And he took hold of his own clothes and rent them in two pieces.
Right, because you just down there chilling, you walk, and next thing you know, you get knocked back, and your man's is floating up in the air. We don't even understand that thing. Right, he followed them everywhere. Let's go to Revelation 9 and 16, because you know they'll have it like somebody getting beamed up in the air, and then they up there, the aliens flying. They got all this technology. Then they got to fly across the galaxy to kidnap somebody and molest them. What the hell is this?
I know, right. That's Esau's
sick fantasy.
Esau's pleasure. Hey, but that video we showed earlier is a good example because that looks like it was a whirlwind.
Right.
There was a lot of wind going around.
Right.
Revelation chapter 9 and verse 16. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire, and of jacinth, and brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions. And out of their mouths issued fire and smoke.
Those explosions from them bombs, read.
And brimstone. By these three was the third part of men killed, by the fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone, which issued out of their mouths.
This is that Independence Day that we're reading about, that Armageddon, that destruction, read.
For their power is in their mouth.
Meaning the warhead is at the tip, read.
And in their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents.
Right, so when you see that, do we got the video footage of the missiles going up in the air? Okay, go ahead.
And had heads, and with them they do hurt.
They gonna do some serious hurt. That's going into nuclear destruction. Roll that video so we can get the concept of what's going on here about these tails. So what's going to happen in that day that these Russia and all them going to get the call. Those submarines are going to raise up the launch deck, and they're going to fire those missiles out of the silos on these submarines. Because they call these things black holes, where the U.S. just a few months ago, they were searching for these submarines in the Atlantic Ocean, couldn't find them. And they got them supersonic warheads on these things? Right.
So this right here is an exercise of how it's going to happen when it happens. They already training for that day. They're going to show you everything. They got the command now. They all running to get in position.
Товарищ командир, отсеки ПЛ к бою готовы, присутствуют все. Боевой курс 80.
Глубина 45, крен 0, дифферент 0, лодка держит глубину.
Товарищ командир, есть нормальные условия старта. Врывается крышка, шахт номер 1. 3, 2, 1, 0. Есть старт ракеты, шахт номер 1. Есть старт ракеты, шахты номер 1, осмотреться в сетах. Есть старт ракеты, шахта номер 1, осмотреться в руках. Есть старт ракеты, шахта номер 1.
Товарищ контролер ГКП, произведен старт баллистической ракеты из шахты номер 1. Замечаний нет.
There go the tail. That's that smoke. And they ain't even hit nothing yet. Hey, read that again. Revelation 9 and 19.
Verse 19. For their power is in their mouth.
This is the warheads again.
And in their tails.
That's the thruster that you see. Read.
For their tails were like unto serpents.
You see how that thing looks like a snake.
And had heads. Mm-hmm. And with them they do hurt.
Right. Them nukes, when they hit, do hurt. Understand that thing.
That's right. And, you know, the thing is, a lot of people that's in Christianity, they got this image of Christ coming back. You know, it's some dude with this Greek gown on, holding a lamb and all that.
He wearing a toga and got the Hermes hat on his head.
That's not in the scriptures. We're reading about how Christ's going to get down. It's nothing like that. Go to Amos 9 and 9.
The book of Amos, chapter 9 and verse 9. We start at verse 8?
Yeah, you can go ahead. Hit that.
Verse 8.
Let's start at 8.
Behold, the eyes of the Lord are upon the sinful kingdom.
So that's talking about Babylon the Great, America. And it's going to tell you how it's going to go down. Read.
And I will destroy it from off the face of the earth.
Using those nuclear warheads. That's what we building up to. Read.
Saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord.
You see that? So because Christ is coming back for the Israelites. That's all throughout the Bible. Let's read the next verse. It's going to explain. Read.
For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations.
Go ahead.
Like as corn is sifted in a sieve. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth.
So all the Israelites are going to be sifted out. But now he's going to separate. He's going to make a separation here. Read the next verse.
All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword.
So sinners, meaning those that don't want to keep the laws. Like in Christianity, they tell you under grace, you ain't got to keep the laws. This is going to be your grace right here.
They say the laws is done away with. In other words, you getting done away with right here.
Read that again. Read verse 10 again.
Verse 10. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword.
And what is sin? Get 1 John 3 and 4 to back it up. Because you got a simple Negro out there right now. You read that.
So this is the book of 1 John chapter 3, verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgressive also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law.
So sin is breaking God's laws. So how can the laws be done away with? That means that there's no such thing as a sinner. That doesn't make any sense. That's an antichrist doctrine. Go ahead, Micah, and read that.
All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say, the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us.
I'm under grace. I'm going to make it into the kingdom. Sure, you're right. It ain't
Right, that's
happen.
why evil shall not overtake them.
That's the kingdom of death they about to be entered into.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're going to be. So let's read, let's go to the next scripture, Judges. Let's get that. Because this is what we should be doing right here.
Most High gonna give you a fireworks show for show.
Yeah.
Be some fireworks.
Hey, look, it's
real.
going to be one grand finale, though. It ain't going to be no little thing. It's going to be a grand finale right from the beginning.
The book of Judges, chapter 5 and verse 11. They that are delivered from the noise of archers in the places of drawing water.
So the noise of archers, this is going into nuclear destruction. Because when you shoot an arrow, that's quiet.
It don't make any noise.
So it don't make any noise. So it's letting you know that this is not talking about arrows. It's talking about missiles. It says from the place of drawing water, meaning captivity. Us Israelites here in captivity. Read.
Which there they shall rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord.
We're just keeping the commandments. Read.
Even the righteous acts towards the inhabitants of his villages in Israel.
Read.
Then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gates.
That's how you're going to get into the kingdom of heaven. All right, let's go. Let's see how this thing going to play out. Let's go to Isaiah, because the scriptures is clear on nuclear destruction. It's clear. So let's read that, Isaiah 54.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 54 and verse 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work.
So the modern day smith is your scientist. The Most High gave them that technology to be able to make these weapons. You think he gave them the technology and they're not going to use the weapons? You think they just going to stay there forever and they're going to be, what they call them, like nuclear peace treaties and all that? Them things going to get used. Read, Micah.
And I have created the waster to destroy.
You see that? He created the weapons to destroy. So they're not just going to sit in the silos and all that.
That's why I said they bring forth an instrument for.
Because you know what? Before today, you know how the prophecy says that he would destroy Babylon with fire. Before today, you would think like, well, how is he going to destroy with fire? Unless it just, you know, he sends like a meteor or something down. But now today is real clear how the Most High would destroy Babylon.
Right, and you see what happened now. The European Union banned U.S. travel. Understand the EU is going to turn on America according to the prophecies in Revelation. Understand that. We at the beginning stages of that. Travel ban.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 9 and verse 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise.
Because in battle, it's a lot of noise, a lot of bloodshed. Now, modern day, you got guns and all of that stuff going on. But read.
And garments rolled in blood.
So these battles up to this point, you got people getting stabbed, shot, blood everywhere. Read.
But this shall be with burning fire and with burning and fuel of fire.
So this last war, you ain't got to worry about bleeding out. You ain't got to worry about that. Ain't gonna be. You're gonna get scorched.
That thing gonna be evaporated.
Yeah, you're gonna be evaporated.
It ain't gonna be no tourniquets in that day.
Hey, look, in the New Testament, it talked about. Let's go to the New Testament because I know that you got some people. The Old Testament done away with. Negro, you're gonna be done away with when these nukes hit if you don't repent. Go ahead and read that.
The book of 2 Peter, chapter 3 and verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night.
So a thief in the night, he's not gonna give you no warning when he coming. So that means what? You got to be prepared and on a watch all the time. Read.
In the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise.
So he's letting you know that the kingdoms on the earth, the heavens, the rulership is going to pass away with a great noise. What can make kingdoms fall with a great noise? This is letting you know he's talking about nuclear destruction. Read.
And the elements shall melt with fervent heat.
You see that? Read.
The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up.
You see that? That's what Peter's letting you know.
And that work
in the spirit.
It's talking about sin. It was read. It said, all the sinners of my people shall die. So that work that's your recompense right there.
Keep reading.
Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness.
Meaning what? You better repent and get on your game. Keep them laws. Read.
Looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of God.
Read.
Wherein the heavens being on fire.
You see that? It says the heavens going to be on fire. That nuke, when you see that mushroom cloud, that fire up on that cloud. Read.
Shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat.
So Peter's seeing that in the spirit. Let you know, the prophets knew what was coming. It's our people today that have been bamboozled by the Antichrist. Let's go to Malachi 4:1. Let's read that.
And that thing says it's going to come like a thief in the night, because that video clip you saw, they raise up in the Atlantic Ocean and shoot them supersonic missiles. Them things will be over D.C. in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, it'll be a
They traveling at what, 3,000 miles an hour or something crazy?
Yeah, that one they got, the Great Satan 2 or whatever. I forget how fast it is. It's super fast. So.
The book of Malachi, chapter 4 and verse 1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble.
Damn, say shall be stubble. It ain't going to be nothing left. Just stubble.
Hey, read that last part again. What did it say?
And all that do wickedly.
Wickedly. All they that do wickedly.
Shall be stubble.
Shall be stubble. That goes right back to what you was reading before.
Yeah, keeping the commandments. I mean, the Bible is redundant. You're not going to find any person in this Bible that profited by not keeping the commandments. It's just not in there. So when you go into these churches and they telling you don't have to keep the commandments, they fitting to get you killed. Go ahead and read.
And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch.
Damn. It says root or branch. It's going to burn the stuff under the ground, the roots, and all the branches.
Right. Your offspring, their offspring, all that getting toasted.
And that's going into that too. But that's just that heat. When you see that nuclear hit, that nuclear explosion, go to Zechariah.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 14 and verse 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem.
So the Bible, the future prophecies is letting you know that the Most High is going to get at these heathens. All this about all nations can be saved, that's out the window. Read.
And that's not talking about the Palestinians.
Yeah, they're gonna get fried up too.
Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet.
You see that? So the Most High is letting you know what type of plague. It's going to be a nuclear plague. Read.
And their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth.
So just imagine what kind of heat that is when it hit. You understand that? When them nuclear bombs hit, everything going to be evaporated. Let's play the video. I know this video is off of a video game, but it's it gives you an idea of what the destruction going to be like when the nukes hit. Go ahead and play that.
Be advised, we have a confirmed nuclear threat in the city. Test teams are on site and attempting to disarm. I repeat, we have a confirmed nuclear... Everyone, hang on!
Copy that, ISS. Video feed from Saquon is clear.
Hey! Stop!
Saquon, keep tracking the bogey. We're looking into it. Stand by.
Houston, we're not scheduled for any satellite launches today, are we?
ISS Houston, stand by. You may have a problem here.
Houston, this is ISS Control. Any word on...
You see how that thing had it in there, even when they talk about in Revelation, how the stars shall fall down from heaven like a fig tree casting their untimely figs, man.
Knock the satellites, everything out. That's why it's going to be. That joint going to be vicious, man. I'm trying to tell y'all. I definitely ain't trying to see it. I'm trying to be going up. I definitely ain't trying to be sitting down here roasting no marshmallows. All right, let's go to Isaiah, because this is how Christ's going to get down when he come back.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 34 and verse 4. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved.
That's what we just saw. All them satellites, the planes, everything coming out of the sky. Read.
And the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll.
We saw that, the mushroom cloud. So the Bible's giving you Isaiah's giving you a description of what he saw. Read.
And all their hosts shall fall down, as the leaf falleth off from the vine.
That's what we saw in the video. All the stuff, the satellite, the space station, all that garbage is coming out. Read.
And as a falling fig from the fig tree.
Read.
For my sword shall be bathed in heaven.
So bathed in heaven means it's talking about the rulers or the leaders that's in their heaven right now. Esau, to be specific. It's going to tell you right here when we read down. Read.
Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment.
You see that? So it's going to come down upon Esau. The Idumean is a Greek word that means Edom.
Letting you know they run the kingdom right now.
Right. That's letting you know what's going down. Read.
The sword of the Lord is filled with blood.
Read.
It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats.
So that's talking about all your heathen nations. Read.
With the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea.
So that's all Esau right there. Basra and the land of Idumea. That was their capital.
Right, and it's not talking about little lambs and goats. It's talking about he getting the best, the upper echelon of the Edomites. So you understand, he not coming down here worried about killing no goats
or Billy Bob.
Right.
Just to let you know, we still in the context. Let's go to Revelation 6 to let you know that Isaiah, he's saying the same thing that we read in that we're going to read in Revelations. Read that.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6, and verse 14. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places.
Read.
And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every freeman, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains.
So what's that going into? That's going into people hiding in them underground
them
bunkers.
dumb bases.
That's what that's going into. Let's go to Psalms 91.
People didn't even want to know that. They didn't even know that was in there. That's the deep underground military bases is in the scriptures. Twice in the book of Jeremiah.
Yeah, we're going to read about it too. We're going to roll through this.
The book of Psalms, chapter 91 and verse 5. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day.
That's talking about that nuke. Read.
Nor the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor the destruction that wasteth at noonday.
So that destruction is going to that nuclear destruction. Read. And the pestilence is like now with the coronavirus and all that. We're not going to worry about all that stuff. Read.
1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee.
You see that? So what arrow, if this is talking about a regular arrow, what arrow is going to knock down 1,000 and 10,000? At a time. That's to let you know this arrow is talking about a nuclear warhead, a missile.
Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold, and see the reward of the wicked.
So that wicked, that's talking about Esau. He's the wicked. We're going to see the wicked of our people that don't want to repent and keep the commandments. Let's go ahead and play the video. We're gonna show the underground bunkers that we was reading about that a lot of these Edomites is hiding in. Let's get that.
Religious groups are calling it Judgment Day.
These things can withstand a 2,000-mile-an-hour wind. Judgment Day.
There were 72 of the silos all across America. Welcome back to What's Inside. Today we are seeing what's inside a real doomsday bunker.
An undisclosed location in Kansas, in the middle of America. This is an old missile silo that was built in the 60s, and it was a key part of the Cuban Missile Crisis. There used to be a giant missile that was inside of here. It was a nuclear missile that at any point, if President Kennedy wanted it to, he could raise it all the way out of the ground, and then he could launch this missile. After about 4 years, they found some other technology with missiles that worked a little bit more efficiently, so they abandoned these silos. Somebody purchased them. There are 12 units that are in here. All of them are purchased. You can't buy one of these. They were between $1.5 and $3 million for one of these 12 units. What's inside of the Doomsday Bunker? Get ready for the adventure. Did you hear that boom? This is how big the entryway is. There's quite an echo in here. If you listen carefully, you'll hear a little clicking noise. And if your ears are really good, you're going to hear a ringing noise. This is the bird repellent system that's in place so the birds don't fly in when you open the door. When you walk out of the garage, the first place you come is this like contamination area. If you needed to, you could go in here and decontaminate yourself. This door would typically be closed, Once it's open, you come into this area. And this area is kind of like a history map of everything that's happening here. This is when they were building it, the missile that they used. There it is, all erect and ready to go. And then they had to come through and demolish, and then they rebuilt it. This thing has been on TV a lot. President Kennedy did come here and inspect this. That's pretty cool.
And then when you walk in this room, batteries.
And apparently, these are the same type of batteries that they have on submarines. What is this? Rock wall, Lincoln. Oh, hey, look at this guy.
If you have a dog, this is where you can take your dog to go to the bathroom.
They even have a toilet for dogs right there. A NASA scientist that is in charge of the well-being of the astronauts came and helped them plan out what are the important things that you need if people are going to be living in here for a long stretch of time so that they don't go crazy. This is the elevator right here, and I love the different display and the cutout that shows you all the different floors. And you can see as we go up,
Library and classroom.
lights up every one of the floors.
Residential. Mechanical level. This is a volcanic ash remover. If there were to be a volcano that exploded around here, there would be as much as 4 feet of ash.
This should be able to filter out all of the ash and give clean, breathable air to the tenants. They thought of everything here. Remember that video about a life straw where they drank like dirt?
And chocolate milk.
And chocolate milk. This is that on a mega scale. This is a life straw for everything nuclear bombs and nuclear fallout and nerve gas and all of that.
This is the actual wall, and it's 9 feet thick. We'll go with this edge.
Yeah.
That's 14 stories down.
Oh man.
I shouldn't be down here.
This is the old hole where the air would come in for the missile back when they had a missile in here. The camera just zooms in on it because it sees the motion.
This is the security room. You have to make sure you scan all of the cows. This is the jail cell.
Hey.
Looks good, but it ain't gonna work.
Yeah, hey, Esau, hey, the thing about Esau, though, if you notice, he knows it's coming. That's why he prepared. That's why they spent millions of dollars building not only building, but also fitting these bunkers so they can survive in any earthquakes. Yeah, they can survive. And matter of fact, during this pandemic, some of them was up in their bunkers.
And you see how they brought the cave with them. Had the rock climbing exhibit in there. They can't leave that.
Yep, they can't
Got
leave
to
the
have
cave.
a cave with them.
But they've been prepared just like today. When you got Esau buying up all the fire rifles, got them ammunition, they buying all this stuff up because they see things coming in the future. Like the scriptures say, how he thinks 10 steps ahead. He see these things. That's why he's preparing. They believe that they're going to survive.
They going to be watching Independence Day. We going to get them.
Yeah, we going to beat them. Them aliens
What is it, Battle
us.
of the Worlds, or what was it, War of the Worlds?
Yeah, War of the Worlds.
Tom Cruise is going to save us.
He's going to save us. The great white hope. Hey, get Jeremiah 16. Start at 14.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 16 and verse 16.
14.
Verse 14. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall be no more said, the Lord liveth, and brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt.
See that thing? It says, there's going to come a day where Passover is not recognized like it is now.
Right. Passover as we know it.
Passover
Getting out of Egypt.
Today, coming out of Egypt, is not going to be remembered or recognized like it is now. Read.
But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north.
From the land of where?
Of the north.
Of North America.
Right.
Babylon the Great, which rules the current world. Read.
And from all the lands whither he had driven them.
So, and all the other lands that we got scattered to during the transatlantic slave trade and the trans-Sahara slave trade. Read.
And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers.
So then we will return back to our homeland, Jerusalem. Then, so during this time, not before that, during this time.
And God going to do it, not the NATO or the UN.
Right. Read. Hey, well, you know what? And why the hell would our enemies that hate our guts return us back to our homeland so we can rule? That makes no sense. Read.
Behold, I will send for many fishers.
That's what we out here doing now. Fishing. We're trying to get Israel to come back, return back to the Most High God, to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments. That's what we out in the street corners doing. That's what all the YouTube videos, all the videos that's going to the four corners, that's what it's for, to fish the children of Israel back, bring them back to the Most High. Read.
Saith the Lord, and they shall fish them, and after will I send for many hunters.
See that thing? So after that, after the fishing season is over, after that 144 is sealed, the Most High say, oh, now I'm going to change these fishermen to hunters.
So we're going to get hunting license, what that's saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Read on.
And they shall hunt them from every mountain.
So now we're going to hunt you in your mountains, Esau, and all of these other nations that think they're going to escape the wrath of the Most High. Say, I'm going to go in the bunker. I'm going to go on the earth. Or I'm going to go out to Mars. Oh, no, you're not escaping the wrath of the Most High. Read.
And from every hill. And out of the holes of the rocks.
You see that thing? We're going to kick in that door, that bunker door, and take them all up out of there.
For mine eyes are upon all their ways. They are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from mine eyes.
You see that? You can't go nowhere where the Most High is not going to get you. He's going to send them hunters to get you. That's all praises to the Most High God. Hey, now let's go to Matthew 24. Matthew chapter 24, start at verse 29.
The book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light.
Why? Because remember, we just went over all them nuclear bombs, all that ash, thermonuclear, all
kicking up much dust, man.
Kicking up much dust. If you have Babylon the Great getting hit by multiple nuclear bombs, that ash and that nuclear stuff is going to cast this shadow over the earth. Not only that, it's going to set off that volcano that's in the middle of the United States.
That's where they got them targeted.
Yep.
That Yellowstone Park, man.
That's where that lake of fire. Read.
And the stars shall fall from heaven.
Like we saw earlier. All of this satellites, all of that space trash they got up there, all that's coming down.
And the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
With power and great glory. And they can't do nothing. They're going to be, you see how that says? It says they will be mourning. They like, oh, hell.
He black.
He black. He the black man going to rule over.
You know that they call us angry black men. They ain't seen a real angry black man.
Hey, and not only that, a lot of them are going to be like, damn. So this whole time we were lied to. We've been persecuting these people.
They gonna like, them niggas was right. That's what they gonna say.
Hey, especially Moab. You know how Moab, they ain't got a clue what's coming.
His eyes gonna be wide open in that day.
They're gonna open their eyes up. They're gonna be able to see everything.
Read.
And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect.
So now you see how the Most High said, I'm gonna send in the angels. And these angels are going to gather my elect. Read.
From the four winds.
From the four corners of the earth. Read on.
From one end of heaven to the other.
So now let's get the precept for the elect. Who are they gathering?
Right. You know what's heavy about that, though? All that's going to take place from verse 29 on down, during the darkened skies, all that. He said he's going to send his angels with a shout, meaning he not coming down, I love you, whispering. No, he's sending them with a shout, man.
After a lot of people are already dead. Hey, get Isaiah 45 and 4. Let's see who the elect are that the angels are coming to get.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 45 and verse 4. For Jacob, my servant's sake, and Israel, mine elect.
So the Israelites are the elect of the Most High God. So the angels are going to get orders to go collect the Israelites that's been keeping the God's laws, the obedient children. All right, now let's go to Jeremiah 16.
Yeah, we got that. Hey, read. Go to real quick. Go to, because some people might be new. They might be wondering why you jumping back and forth. Bring that out for the people.
Yeah. Get that precept upon precept. I said, wait a minute, you got to keep it in its context. We are reading the context.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 28 and verse 9. Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine?
You see that thing? It says, whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he teach doctrine? Read.
Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept. Precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line. Here a little and there a little.
You see that thing? That's the guidance that the Most High God gives us in order to read the Bible, to understand it. That's why an Israelite will out-understand a top pastor. Like, for example, you got T.D. Jakes. He can't touch Bishop. Then he will be embarrassed.
He can't even mess with one of the brothers in the Bible.
Exactly.
They say, brother, break down Christmas for me in the scripture. He done. He done.
Yeah,
we don't even need to go anywhere past that.
That's it. Because it's a combination of you keeping God's laws, so therefore the Most High imparted knowledge that a lot of these sinful pastors don't have. And they went to theology school.
Right. Well, let's get that, though. We'll get verse 13, because this is what they're going to do to you in their Christian church. Read Isaiah 28 and 13, because this is exactly what they're doing.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 28 and verse 13. But the word of the Lord was unto them.
So the word of the Lord was unto them. He already broke it down how it was going to be to the children of Israel, those that's keeping the commandments, because he only revealed the mysteries to the prophets, the Israelites. That's why, as officer said, you got to go precept upon precept to get the understanding. Read.
But the word of the Lord was unto them precept upon precept. Precept upon precept.
So they doing it too.
Line upon line. Line upon line. Here a little and there a little.
For what purpose? Read.
That they might go and fall backward.
They might go and what?
Fall backward. And be broken and snared and taken.
That's what's letting you know Christianity is backwards. Is they gonna be broken, snared, and taken? Understand that.
Yep. It's nothing but idolatry.
It is backwards because it says everything opposite of the Bible. The Bible tells you to keep the commandments. They say don't keep the commandments. The Bible say go to church on the last day of the week. They say go to church on the first day of the week. Everything about Christianity is backwards.
Christ is a dark-skinned man with white woolly hair.
Yeah, but he's white and bright with stringy
blonde hair.
long hair, blonde hair, in Christianity.
Yeah, it's like they just took our book and created an idolatrous custom from it. That's all they did. Because they combined many other idols together for Christianity. That's why you would say, well, the Bible says not to celebrate Christmas. But in Christianity, you saying celebrate Christmas.
They hit you with the precept. Their precept. Well, we celebrating the birth of Christ. Yeah. That's an example of them going precept upon precept to go backwards.
No more questions.
Right. Give me your money, dummy.
Hey, let's get 1 Corinthians 15. Start at verse 51.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15 and verse 51. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed.
So right here, the Most High said, look, I'm going to change my elect servants that's keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Read on.
In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye.
Because remember, we read earlier about fishing turning into hunters. Read.
At the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible.
You see that thing? Incorruptible. Meaning you're not going to be corrupt. There's no corruption. Incorruptible. Read.
And we shall be changed. For this corruptible must be put on incorruption. And this mortal must be put on immortality.
See that thing? Because right now, our current bodies, they age, they wither, and you die. And then they decay. It says, no. It says, I'm going to put on this mortal. The mortal must be put on immortality, meaning life forever. Now, how do you get that How do you get that life forever? Christ said it in Matthew 19. If you want that, you got to keep the commandments. That's clear. What's that in on that? Yeah, let me get Psalms. Psalms chapter 18. Chapter 18, start at verse 30.
The book of Psalms, chapter 18 and verse 30. As for God, his way is perfect.
His way is perfect. The laws of the Most High God is perfect. His ways. That's why I don't understand some of these Christians think they're going to get favor with the Most High, and you are disobedient. You're disobedient to the Most High God, but yet you think you're going to get a reward.
Right, like if you got a guideline for your job, right, and then you literally do the opposite of your job, you're going to get fired. So why do you think in Christianity you don't have to do anything the Bible say and you're going to get the greatest reward from the Bible? Yep. That doesn't play out in anything. Whether you're talking about coaching, your job, bad children. Tell me where you just do the opposite and get rewarded.
Read.
The word of the Lord is tried, and he is a buckler to all those that trust in him.
You see that? It's tried, meaning it's tested, and he is a buckler, defense to all those that trust in him. Read on.
For who is God to save the Lord? Or who is a rock save our God?
Read.
It is God that girdeth me with strength, and maketh my way perfect.
And maketh my way perfect. How? By keeping God's laws. Read.
He maketh my feet like hinds' feet, and setteth me upon my high places.
So this is going into the changing from fishers to hunters. Read.
He teacheth my hands to war.
So now the Israelites will be taught to war because remember, we're turned into hunters now. Read.
So that a bow of steel is broken by mine arm.
You see that thing? It says a bow of steel.
Right, they ain't have just iron back. They had steel in them days.
This is talking about your modern day rifles because it's a bow. Read.
Thou hast also given me the shield of thy salvation, and thy right hand hath holden me up, and thy gentleness hath made me great. Thou hast enlarged my steps under me, that my feet did not slip.
Right, so you ain't falling over or slipping up, none of that. Read.
I have pursued mine enemies and overtaken them.
So now it says, I pursued my enemies and overtaken them. So remember, Psalms let us know who are the Israelites' enemies. All the other nations. Read.
Neither did I turn again till they were consumed.
You see that thing? I wouldn't flee in the way scared.
And in other words, he didn't leave anybody left on the battlefield. He had 100% kill rate. That's what he going into.
Yep.
He jacked them jokers up.
Yep. Read on.
I have wounded them that they were not able to rise.
You see that? Not able to rise. You ain't getting up. You ain't getting no CPR and you back on your feet. Oh, no. Read.
They are fallen under my feet. For thou hast girded me with strength unto the battle. Thou hast subdued under me those that rose up against me.
And who's doing this? The Most High. The Most High's doing this. Read.
Thou hast also given me the necks of mine enemies.
You see that? What the Most High gave what?
Has given me the necks of mine enemies, that I might destroy them that hate me.
That hate me. The nation not desired. Read.
They cried, but there was none to save them, even unto the Lord, but he answered them not.
So they're going to be calling up to the Most High. Please, Lord, we believe in Black Christ. Please don't kill us all. No.
Let's see what happened in verse 42 after they got them finished crying. Let's see what he did.
Then did I beat them small as the dust before the wind.
Damn.
They beating them with the dust.
That's that stubble.
I did cast them out as the dirt in the streets.
Dang. Boy, hey. That's that right there. That's a great day right there.
Showing you Christianity ain't got nothing to do with the Bible.
Nope. That's a just God.
Like that.
That's a just God.
They would never ever read that in the church.
Nope. Let's get Joel. Joel chapter 2.
They damn sure ain't gonna read this.
This video. Joel chapter 2. Start at verse 2.
Joel chapter 2 and verse 2. A day of darkness and of gloominess. A day of clouds and of thick darkness. Verse 1.
That's the day of the Lord.
Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong. There hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. A fire devoureth before them.
Destruction, read.
And behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness.
You see that thing? we going to the kingdom, and everything behind us is destroyed.
Yea, and nothing shall escape them. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen so shall they run.
So you see that thing on the battlefield of old time. When you saw a bunch of horsemen coming in, you were terrified because you like they're gonna run us over.
Right. You look and talk. That's going into the size. Like they built like horses, man. These brothers gonna have some serious muscles and height.
Yep. Read.
Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap.
Mm-hmm.
Like
so they say they leaping.
Jumping up mountains. How you gonna vertical jump test
Leaping.
that? That brother jumping through the gym.
Like the noise of a flame of fire that devoured the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array.
Mm-hmm.
Before their face, the people shall be much pained.
See that thing? Oh, man, they're going to be hurting.
They're going to be crying for the Lord.
Yep.
All faces shall gather blackness. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. And they shall march every one his ways, and they shall not break their ranks.
See, that's perfect formation right there. Perfect battle array.
Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path.
See that? There ain't going to be no friendly fire. Ain't none of that.
Ain't going to be no self-will brothers either.
Yep.
They're going to be following orders.
Yes, sir. Following the orders. Keeping the order in the structure.
And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded.
You see that thing? That means your enemy's weapons is not going to do nothing to you. You're still going to be going.
They shall run to and fro in the city.
Mm-hmm.
They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses.
That's when we hunting right there. That's them hunters.
They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them, and the heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining.
Yeah, play this video.
That's from the nuclear destruction. Go ahead and play the video. This is going to be like, this is the best I could do as far as finding a video that could kind of give you an idea.
Of a brother getting busy, though.
Yeah, of a brother getting busy. Israel getting busy.
Hey, and we ain't going to even put in that much effort. It's going to be easier than that. Because remember, we read earlier that the Most High made us perfect, a perfect hunter. Because you got to think about it. The angels is already a part of the military. Now he's taking his elect and making them immortal and perfect.
Ain't nobody going to lay a finger on one of them soldiers.
Nope. So let's jump to this last scripture. Let's get Isaiah 13. Start at verse 13 through 16.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 13, verse 13. Verse 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold.
You see that? I will make a man more precious than fine gold.
Even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir.
Read.
Therefore, I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of the Lord of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. And there shall be as the chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up.
You see that? Esau me as the chased roe.
That's the
And
it.
Ain't nobody trying to save him. They
No,
like,
no,
oh,
sir.
Oh, no. Read.
They shall every man turn to his own people.
You see that? They like, nah, Esau, you can't come over here to Arabia to come live with us. No, you stay over there.
And flee every one into his own land. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through.
You see that? Everyone that is found shall be thrusted through. Read.
And everyone that is joined unto them.
So now our sisters that be joining, our brothers that be joining, oh, I got to have my white rabbit, my little Becky. Oh, yeah. In that day, you keep on joining unto them and not repenting of your sin, you're going to be thrusted to also. Read.
And everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed.
You see that? The Most High ain't even sparing your children. Because you know they always say, well, God is love. Hey.
God love the children.
Yeah, the God love the children. All the little children come to Jesus. Oh, no, bruh. Read.
Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished.
By the other nations. That's it on that. That's it on that. So you got something, officer? So with that, shalom, fam. Most High Christ bless.
Shalom,
Most High Christ bless.